Hello students, a very good morning. So students, in last class we were discussing the pressure exerted by the gas and how can we derive the gas laws with the help of that equation. So number of laws we have derived from that law, but still there are some more laws that we can derive by the help of the concept that we have studied in the last class. So here let's start our topic today with the derivation of the gas law, that is rest law. And the first one in that one, that is Dalton's law of Dalton's law of partial pressures. So let's see the first law. What is first of all Dalton's law of partial pressure? So a statement of this law is that the total pressure exerted by a mixture of non-reactive ideal gas is equal to sum of the partial pressures which each would exert if it alone occupied the same volume at the given temperature. So here I think the statement is very clear. So here whenever we are taking the non-reactive ideal gas, that's the pressure we are seeing, the mixture of non-reactive ideal gas we have. So that pressure is always the sum of the individual pressures of that gases. So this is simple Dalton's law. And now let's see how can we derive this with the help of the pressure exerted by the gas concept. So let us consider for that one the number of non-reactive ideal gases mixed together in a vessel of volume capital V. As volume we have to keep constant and also temperature constant. So and let N1, N2, N3, this N1, N2, N3 and so on. This be the number of molecules of different gases. The second one, M1, M2, M3 be the masses of each molecule of different gases. The third one, that is C1, C2, C3 be the RMS velocities of the molecules of different gases. And the fourth one, that is P1, P2, P3. Let's suppose that is the pressures of different here partial pressure exerted by the various gases. Now we can use the equation of pressure exerted by the gas, and that was P is equal to 1 by 3 rho C square, or we can also write it M by V, and M can be written as Mn upon V C square. So this equation we have seen yesterday already. So let's use them for each molecule of the gas. So here for the first one, as pressure is P1, so P1 can be written as 1 by 3 M1 N1 C1 square upon V. Similarly, P2 can be written as 1 by 3 M2 N2 C2 square upon V. P3 can be written as 1 by 3 M3 N3 C3 square upon V, and so on. So this is the individual pressure exerted by the various gases on the walls of the container here. Now let's take the sum of these all pressures. So we have to just take the P1 plus P2 plus P3 plus P4, that's all. So let's start with that one. So let's take P1 plus P2 plus P3 and so on. So the value of P1 we have, that is 1 by 3 M1 N1 C1 square upon V. Similarly, value of P2 P3 you have. Let's use these all values here. So that is 1 by 3 M2 N2 C2 square upon V plus 1 by 3 M3 N3 C3 square upon V, and so on. Now we can take as common, that is 1 by 3 V we can take common. So let's take it common. We have M1 N1 C1 square plus M2 N2 C2 square plus M3 N3 C3 square, and so on. So up to now I think that is clear. Now next one here, as the temperature of the all the gases in the mixture is the same, then their average kinetic energy per molecule of different gases will be same. So it means that as kinetic interpretation of the gases we have seen in the last class, and we have seen that the average kinetic energy was dependent on temperature. So whenever temperature will constant, average kinetic energy will also constant. So each molecule will have same average kinetic energy for the same temperature. So it means we can write half m1 c1 square, that should be equal to half m2 c2 square also is equal to half m3 c3 square and so on. So this is the concept that we have got for the same temperature. Now from here 1 by 2 you can remove from all the places. So this 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 1 by 2, that's all is removed now. So m1 c1 square, m2 c2 square, that's all is same. And now this is all equal to here, that will be equal to 3 kBT. So as the average kinetic energy is equal to 3 by 2 kT, 1 by 2 we have removed from both sides, so it obtained as 3 kT now. So we can keep now in the place of m1 c1 square, m2 c2 square, m3 c3 square in this equation as 3 kBT. So let's use now that one thing. So if we will use it, then in the place of m1 c1 square, m2 c2 square, m3 c3 square and so on, let's use the value that we have obtained, that is kBT into 3, kBT into again 3 and kBT into 3, where kBT is what, that is the Boltzmann constant. Now we can take 3 kBT as common and this will be 3B, and inside it will be obviously N1 plus N2 plus N3 and so on. Now this is what, this is the total number of molecules in the system, and this total number of molecules, suppose that is equal to small n. So we can write this whole of the equation as this is kBT upon 3B into small n. Now again you can write this equation in some different form, or you can also see this 3 kBT, that is equal to what, that is the average kinetic energy, or 3 by 2 kBT if you will exactly write, then that will be average kinetic energy of the mixture of the system. So it means if m is the mass of the system, whole of the mixture of the gases, then that time we can write in the place of 3 kBT, that will be equal to m into c square into this one is n and upon 3b. So why I think this is now clear to you. If you want to just see it here, I can make so half m into c square. Suppose m is the mass of the mixture of the gases, c is what, that is the average root RMS velocities of the mixture, or the, you can see simple after mixing the RMS velocities of the mixture of the gas, that is c square, and this will be equal to 3 by 2 kBT according to the kinetic interpretation of the gas, as temperature is remains constant, Kb is already a constant. So we can now calculate mc square, that will be equal to 3 kBT. So that I have written here. Now you can see this formula in some different form, that is 1 by 3, that is mn, sorry for that, mn upon v into c square, and mn upon v is what, that is now the total mass of the molecules, and upon v, that is the mass per unit volume, that is density, and this is whole representing the pressure of the mixture of the system. So it means that this 1 by 3 capital mnc square, that is what, this is equal to now the pressure of the mixture of the gas. So we can now see P1 plus P2 plus P3, that is equal to finally P, and this was the Dalton's law. So Dalton's law was saying if we are mixing non-reactive ideal gases together, so whatever is their individual pressure, that sum should be equal to the pressure of the mixture of the gas, and that we have seen from here. So this is easily derived by using the pressure exerted by the gas or kinetic theory of the gases. Using that one we can easily derive the equations. derived with the help of again the pressure exerted by the gas or the kinetic theory of the gases, that is Gram's diffusion law. So let's see what is first of all Gram's diffusion law. So that is statement of this law is the rate of diffusion of two gases are inversely proportional to the square root of their densities. So it means that if you will find out how the diffusion of two gases is going on, the time taken to diffuse them is the rate of their diffusion, that is inversely proportional to the root of density. So let's prove it again, or let's derive this with the help of the kinetic theory of the gases. So consider two gases, we have that A and B diffusing into each other. Now if ρ1 and ρ2 with the densities of them and C1 and C2 with their RMS velocities here, then we can write down now P1 is equal to the pressure exerted by the first gas, that will be equal to, means first gas A, that is 1 by 3 ρ1 C1 square. Similarly pressure exerted by the second one, that is 1 by 3 ρ2 C2 square we can write. Now here when the diffusion will start, then a steady state will attain when the gases will stop to diffuse into each other, and that is called equilibrium state or steady state of the system. Like you have seen when two gases started to mix with each other to your home, then that time again after some time we are not able to see any of the gas because the diffusion attain a steady state. So that's the same state. Suppose that are the two gases for which we are talking here. So whenever the diffusion will start to will reach the steady state, then P1 will equal to P2 here. So if P1 is equal to P2, then from these equations we can write 1 by 3 this ρ1 C1 square, that will be equal to 1 by 3 ρ2 C2 square. Or if you will just solve this one, so ρ1 upon ρ2 you can write that is equal to C1 upon C2. And C1 square upon C2 square. Now from here, if C1 by C2 you can see that is equal to root of ρ1 upon ρ2 from here. Now after this, as we know, the rate of diffusion of gas is directly proportional to the root mean square speed or velocity of an of its molecule. So as greater will be the root mean square velocity, greater will be the diffusion. So that is the directly proportional relationship between rate of diffusion and root mean square speed. So here if suppose for example R1 and R2, small R1 R2 are the rate of diffusion of A and B respectively, then we can write now R1 is directly proportional to C1, R2 is directly proportional to C2. So in the place of C1 and C2 we can also write down now R1 and R2. So we can write R1 and R2, this is equal to now root of ρ1 to ρ2. I think just something is wrong here. This should be C2 by C1 from here, and this would be also C2 upon C1, and this would be R2 upon R1 from here. Now it is correct. Now we can just see that this R2 is inversely proportional to the root of ρ2. Similarly, R1 is inversely proportional to root of R1. So in general we can write R is inversely proportional to root of the density of the gas. So this is now the Gram's diffusion law that can be easily again derived by the help of kinetic theory of the gases, and that is saying always gas will exert pressure on the container of the walls, and by using that pressure expression we can derive all possible equations to understand ideal gases. So these were all that we have seen how can we derive all the equations now. Let's see the next topic now. To understand the gases velocity, because here in ideal gas, as gas has no configuration, molecules are always in motion, they are doing zigzag motion, so they have different kinds of velocities. So we are seeing three types of velocities of the gas. So let's see these three types of velocities, how can we calculate them. So first of velocity is here most probable velocity, or also in terms of speed, let's start to see that is most probable speed. And we are denoted it by CMP. Now first here in given mass of a gas, the velocities of all molecules are not same obviously, that is depending on their internal energies also. Even when macroscopic parameters like pressure, volume, temperature all are fixed, that time also gases molecules have different speeds. So here the collisions that will change the direction and speed of molecule also. So Maxwell, a scientist was there, he was started to study about the distribution of molecules among the gases and about their velocities also. So using his concept, the velocities of the gases that we have got, or the speed of the gases we have got, the first speed that is called now the most probable speed here. So its most probable speed is what? Most probable speed of molecule of a gas is that speed which is possessed by maximum fraction of the total number of molecules of the gas. So for example, suppose in in gas 50 number of molecules are there, and out of 50 molecules, near about 25 or 30 molecules are moving with the same velocity. Other 20s are moving with different velocities. Means they don't have, other 20s don't have any common velocity, but the other 30 has common velocity. So that common velocity through which all the molecules like to move, that is known as most probable speed. Means the probability to occur that speed is highest, and that's why it is known as most probable. And the most probable speed is given by the equation, that is CMP is equal to root 2 kBT by m. So here kBT is, you know, that is Boltzmann constant, T is temperature of the system, and m is the mass of the molecule. So CMP is dependent on simple temperature. This is directly proportional to temperature. You can see it from here. The second type of speed is here, that is average speed or mean speed. So as all the molecules are moving with different velocity, different speeds, then we need to find average speed for the study of the molecules, because in system a lot of molecules, millions of molecules are there, so we cannot study individually their speeds. So that's why we are taking their average speed. So average speed concept, that's why it is necessary to we have, and we are talking about that in this kind of the behavior of the gases. Now average speed, I think I don't have to tell you again, but one time I will read the definition for you. So mean speed or average speed is the average speed with which all the molecules of the gases that will move. Now if suppose C1, C2, C3 are the near about C1, C2, C3 and Cn up to that one, the speeds of the molecules have, then at that time obviously their average speed will be equal to C1 plus C2, C3 and Cn upon n. So you know that already. But here in the terms of T, the Maxwell has shown the average speed, and that is now given by the second speed is mean speed, or that is also called average speed. So we can write it C average. So C average is given by 8 kBT upon pi m. So this is now the formula for the calculation of the average speed in the system. We can calculate, and we can again see the average speed is also proportional to the root of the temperature. Now the third speed that you have just here listen the name number of times why we were deriving the laws, and also we have seen in the pressure exerted by the gas. So that is the root mean square speed. So what is now the root mean square speed? Let's see. that is the root mean square speed of a gas molecules is defined as the square root of the mean of the squares of random velocities of the individual molecule of a gas. So that is why we are taking this velocity, because this velocity give more great results, or that's why for the velocities of the gases than the mean velocity. So we are taking RMS speed for the calculations of the just velocities of the molecules. So if mathematically you will see, first of all, by the formula or by the just definition, you will see the root mean square speed. And that is denoted by CRMS. So this one, first by the definition you can write CRMS, that is equal to root of C1 square plus C2 square plus C3 square plus Cn square upon n. So average of the square of all, first of all the velocities, after that we are taking the root of that, that is known as root mean square speed, that is giving the more accurate result. So next one after this CRMS in the terms of the temperature that was detected by, calculated by the Maxwell, that is now obtained as 3 kBT by m from here. So this is now the all three types of speeds of the molecules that we are always seeing, or we are calculating the speed of the different gas molecules for the understanding purpose, for the to study their behavior, for the derivations of the gas law. Also whenever we are seeing their kinetic energies, their conversion of energies into another form, for all these only these speeds we are taking. Reason I have told you why we are taking this, because the all gas molecules are moving with different speeds, so we need their average speed, but more accurate result is given by RMS speed. And the most probable speed, because most of the molecules try to attain a common velocity or common speed for their equilibrium. So the most probable speed concept we have seen up to now. Now after this one, the next topic we have, that is degree of freedom. So let's see now what is the degree of freedom. First concept, what is this? So degrees of freedoms are what, first as you know, to specify or to understand the any molecule, any particle, any atom, we need at least 3 coordinates because Earth is 3-dimensional. So for the study of the molecule, for the position of the molecule, if we want to understand or position of the particle, if we want to know, that we need at least 3 coordinate x, y and z. Means if any frame of reference you are taking, and in that frame of reference if somewhere the particle is existing, with respect to ozone, if you want to know its position correctly, so at least 3 coordinates you need always, and that is called also space coordinates x, y, z. So this is now called the degrees of freedom, the minimum number of coordinates to specify the position or orientation of the particle in the space, that is known as the degrees of freedom. So I think the concept of degrees of freedom is first clear. So minimum possible degrees of freedom can be 3, or that is depending on also the system. For different gases, degrees of freedom will be different. Now if suppose we have monoatomic gas, so as in monoatomic gas only one atom is there. So to understand the position and orientation of one atom, to specify its location, we need only 3 coordinates. So that's degree of freedom of monoatomic gas is 3. Now if we will come to the concept of the diatomic gas, so suppose we have 2 molecules in the space, and 2 atoms in the space, and also these 2 atoms are joined, or they are just bonded together, because diatomic molecules obviously they will be bonded together. So for to specify individually we need 3 coordinates here. coordinates, as these two are linked, then one coordinate is known already, so they will have the degrees of freedom, that is 6 minus 1, 5 degrees of freedom they will have. So I think first students, the brief introduction about degrees of freedoms are clear. In next class, in the detail, we will see what is degrees of freedom and how can we calculate it more precisely. So for today, let's end our class here with this introduction of the degrees of freedom. Rest of the things let's discuss in next class. So thank you students for today.